All right, Shalom. First and foremost, want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. Yahweh being the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people refer to as God, and his beloved Son, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, which in the ancient Hebrew tongue, his name is Yahweh Shah. That's the proper pronunciations of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. I also want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and to all you brothers that's also laboring in his work, pushing out this gospel in all true faith and sincerity. Shalom. Yes, so the mystery of the red horse, which is recorded in Revelation, the 6th chapter. And in this lesson, through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, we're going to reveal that mystery and unveil what that is going into. Because pretty much that's a parable, if you didn't know, all right? Which the whole Bible is a dark hidden book, all right? A book of allegories, which you can't just pick up the Bible at face value and expect to get the true proper understanding of the scriptures, all right? The Spirit has to rest on you to be able to decode this book. You got a lot of people, historians and people who have sought out the dark sayings of this book. They put a lot of money and resources and time and energy into researching this book and trying to figure it out. But the Heavenly Father revealed his mysteries to the meek, all right? And pursuant to Psalms, the 147th chapter, I believe it is, the Lord said he shows his statues to Jacob, which is the nation of Israel, all right? So there's only a reserved number of men on the planet that's able to go into this Bible and break it down, all right? So before I get into this lesson, I want to start off in the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. The 39th chapter, starting at verse 1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the meditation thereof, will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient, and be occupied in prophecies. He will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtile parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences, and be conversant in dark parables. That's right. And that's what the Bible entails. Grave sentences and dark parables. So when you read Revelation, the 6th chapter, you got to understand that this is a riddle, all right? Now, let's get that. This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. Now this is dealing with the so-called white man, all right? And really pretty much all you got to do is go into history to see that that statement I just made support that, all right? When the so-called white man came into power, then peace was taken away from the earth on all levels, all right? From the inhabitants of the earth, the animals. You got certain animals that's in danger of extinction because of the so-called white man. All right, one of the pastimes of the so-called white man is actually hunting. In itself, that's taking peace away from the earth. Not to mention the world wars that was perpetuated by this man, all right? Because you had different skirmishes around the world, right? Different, you know, maybe tribal wars, you know, different clashes. But when this man came into power, going all the way back to the Roman Empire, he pushed out that vibration of war. He took peace away from the earth, all right? This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1. And starting at verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And we know that this Alexander is dealing with Alexander the Greek, all right? which was a so-called white man. All right? And why is that important? Well, let's read on. And his servants bare rule every one in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years. And evils were multiplied in the earth. Right, so this actually links up with Revelation, the 6th chapter, where that red horse was given the power to take peace away from earth. All right? And when you go to Alexander the Greek, the scriptures tell you once his sons after him began to reign, evils multiplied on the earth, which means peace was taken away from the earth. All right? Now I want to go back to Revelation, the 6th chapter, and I want to point out a key word in the scriptures, will give you a more clarity on why we know that this is speaking about the so-called white man. All right, so back in Revelation 6:4, and there went out another horse that was red. All right. Now, reason why that's important, because the so-called white man, the reason why we call him so-called white, because he's not white, he's actually red. Whenever this man shows any emotions, he turns red. Whenever the weather is hot, one extreme or another is too hot, he turns red. Or whether it's too cold, his nose turns red. All right? Why? Because he has the form of leprosy, which his blood shows forth. So when you come across different scriptures, such as the red dragon, found in Revelation, the 12th chapter, and what we read now, the red horse, this is dealing with the so-called white man. And to support this, let's go to the beginnings of his forefather, where the scriptures give you his appearance and his characteristics. All right? This is the book of Genesis, chapter 25. And I start at verse 20. And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Pandam Aram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. So to set the stage, Rebekah had twins. All right? Verse 23, and these two twins actually struggled in the womb. All right? So verse 23, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people. The elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red, all over like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So what's the coincidence of these 2 nations? One of the nations were red, because that's dealing with the so-called white man. This is the humble beginnings, if you will, of the so-called white man, his forefather, which is Esau. All right? Now, if that's not enough, let's go into the characteristics of these 2 nations, in particular Esau, which we already see his identity was red. Let's go into their characteristics, all right, so we can prove that this is the so-called white man. Verse 27, Genesis 25 and 27, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter. That's right. So when you look at certain stores like Dick's Sporting Goods, Academy, well, they are all geared for the so-called white man. Why? Because the white man pastime is hunting. All right? So let's read this again. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. See? And meaning a man of the field, that's why you got these so-called white people. They like going out camping, exploring the woods. All right? So now, unless you're just, docile, you should see what the scriptures is giving you the characteristics of the so-called white man, but in a parable. Because the Lord, by writing this book in a parable, pretty much outsmarted the white man. Why? Because the so-called white man would have got rid of this book, man. If you do any research, that was a such thing as the Bible Destruction Group. All right, and even Adolf Hitler himself campaigned with getting rid of the Bible because he was a knowledgeable man, all right, and he understood that the Bible condemned the so-called white man, all right. Now I'm gonna jump down to another point. This is verse 28, and Isaac loved, well, I'll go to verse 29. And Jacob sowed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. So yeah, one day, Jacob, Esau's brother, was cooking pottage, all right? And Esau came in from the field, and he was faint, meaning he was hungry. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage. Now you see that same buzzword, that key buzzword in there again, red pottage. And why was this pottage called red? Because it wasn't done cooking. Keep that in mind, all right? It says, and Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, all right? It wasn't done cooking. I am faint, therefore his name was called Edom, all right? That's why we call the so-called white man, which their biblical nationality to this day is the Edomites. And if you ask any of these scholars, these historians, they would try to run away from that name. You notice they never did movies on Esau. As interesting as this Jacob and Esau story is, they did movies and time pieces, period pieces on Moses, Noah's Ark, all right? And so on and so forth, King David, but they won't touch this Esau thing. Why? Because they don't want to be attached to that, all right? They running from their identity because Esau, or the so-called white man, and the nation of Edom, is that nation who the Lord got indignation with, man. So the reason why the Lord put this in a mystery, again, it was to preserve this book and his writings. So you notice Esau asked for that red pottage. Why did he ask for it? First and foremost, it wasn't done cooking. And if you was to ask the average so-called white man today, how do he like his meat? He's gonna say rare or medium rare. So you see where the scriptures actually hit it on the head when identifying Esau, the so-called white man. Now back in Revelation, the 6th chapter, in the 4th verse again, and there went out another horse that was red. Now we have established that this ties in with Esau, all right? You know, you got to understand, the Bible is not written for as a novel, man. This is a heavy book, and you got to have the spirit on you to piece this puzzle together. And that word red isn't thrown around for entertainment, all right? That's like those are key buzzwords for you to piece this story together. So we just read in Genesis, all right, the so-called white man's forefather, that word red is attached to him. So when you go in Revelation, you are able to piece this together. So again, it says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that's what this man did. To this very day, this man has took peace from the earth, man, all right? When he came over here to the Americas, he slaughtered 4 million Native American Indians, man. All right? When they went over to the Middle East in these modern times, they didn't go over there seeking out peace. When they went over there, it was war. War followed them. When you go into this man's history, even going back to the Roman Empire, and if you proceed that to the Greek Empire with Alexander the Greek, well, he conquered many nations by what? War. So the so-called white man role on the planet is to take peace from the earth. And reading on, it says, and that they should kill one another. All right? And there was given unto him a great sword. Now, keep that in mind. Let's focus on that word sword. Now we're going to go back to Genesis, to the story of Esau and Jacob. And we're going to find out what was Esau's blessing. This is Genesis chapter 27. And let me see where I'm gonna start. Well, I start at verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me, so Salakia, bless me, even me also. So Esau was asking his father for a blessing. We're gonna find out what his blessing was. O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live. Now, when you read Revelation, the 6th chapter, does it not say that the rider of the red horse held a sword? This is no coincidence, people, all right? Let's read this again, verse 40. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke off thy neck. So again it says, and by thy sword thou shalt live. And when you read Revelation, the 6th chapter again, it says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. And when was he given that sword? Back in Genesis, which that sword is his blessing, all right? Because even if you ask the average so-called white man, you know, how do you feel about, you know, the North Korea situation, all right, or Iran, or whatever, they're gonna say, nah, we'll wipe them out, you know? Hey, and I done had that conversation with so-called white people. They trust in their military. When Donald Trump came into office, you know, he kind of quieted the grumblings of the people by saying he was gonna strengthen and modernize the military and their nuclear program, meaning they trust in their sword, all right? That's why the scriptures say, and there was given unto him a great sword. And when you go in the book of Genesis, you see when that sword was given to him, it was given to his forefather, Esau, all right, as his blessing. So yeah, I hope this was an edifying lesson. Until the next time I say shalom.